If you watch Nathan Aspinall's winner's interview from the Premier League night in Rotterdam, you'll see that he's asked more about the conditions in the Dutch arena than his second nightly victory of the campaign. The Asp explained that he couldn't say too much, but that the conditions were bad as it was very windy on the stage. Nathan joked that he maybe won because he throws one of the heaviest darts of the Premier League players, and that he should maybe get his own fan to blow from the side of the stage. He also said that other players were moaning about the issue. Gerwyn Price also spoke about the conditions in one of his interviews, saying that there was wind, which made it harder for the players using lighter darts. He said it was the same in Rotterdam every year, but that he didn't know if the issue was to do with the shape of the arena or some doors being open. At the arena last year, Johnny Clayton beat Chris Dobie 6-4, averaging 100 to reach the semi-final, where his average fell to just 88 in a 6-1 loss against his Welsh World Cup teammate Price. Following the poor performance, the usual quiet and well-mannered Clayton put out a shocking tweet, cussing the conditions and saying that there was gale force wind on the stage. He emphasised that the players were playing for 250 grand and not a coconut. Johnny swiftly deleted the tweet, likely because he would have probably been fined for keeping it up. In the final, Price, who averaged 100 against Clayton, averaged 88 himself in a 6-4 loss against Nathan Aspinall. Gezi then put out his own post on his famous Instagram story, saying that the Rotterdam crowd were great as always, but the conditions absolutely weren't. On that night, Dimitri Vandenberg also said that there was significant wind on the stage, saying that he was having to move over to the left to compensate. At that same arena in 2019, James Wade asked Dimmy to pause their game due to a breeze, causing both players to walk off the stage for a while after just 2 legs. On that occasion, Vandenberg said that he knew where James was coming from as there was a lot of wind on the stage. Even on the Premier League's first visit to the arena back in 2016, Adrian Lewis said that the wind was really bad, causing his darts to land at funny angles, meaning that he had to change his aim by an inch. There was just something about the 16,000 seat venue, one of the biggest on the Premier League calendar, and it could be down to the arena's bowl shape. Whatever the cause is, it's clear that there's an issue, which could be very hard for the PDC to find a solution to, other than moving the night to another venue or city in the Netherlands, of course. Another famous darts venue that's had some issues with conditions in the past is the iconic Lakeside, the previous long-time host of the BDO World Championship, which now hosts the WDF version. Back in 2003, then, 2-time BDO World Champ Raymond van Barneveld managed to reach the Lakeside final for the first time in 4 years, beating Mervyn King 5-2 in the semis. Following the game, King blamed the venue's air conditioning, which he claimed wasn't turned off during the match, and caused his darts to be blown about. The BDO insisted that the aircon had been off for the entire game, but Merv said that he was having to aim halfway across the treble 1 to hit a treble 20. He added that it didn't affect Raymond because he threw a heavier dart, and said that he was so disillusioned that he was considering missing the event the following year if the issue wasn't sorted. Almost a decade later, former world champ Ted Hankey called out a Lakeside breeze during his semi-final loss against Christian Kist. Hankey had led 5-3 before losing 6-5, and he said that when he went 5-3 up, the aircon was turned on. Ted said that he knew why it was turned on, but that he wasn't going to say it on camera. It was assumed that Ted was referring to the fact that he felt BDO officials turned on the aircon as they didn't want him to win, as it was just around the time that he'd announced he was going to be moving over to the PDC. With such a low ceiling, aircon could certainly affect the darts, but with both issues, the reports of the aircon has just been accusations from the players. Ted does have history of kicking off about aircon, as he also did during a game against Robbie Green at the 2008 International Darts Open, where he requested for it to be turned off due to his light darts. Ted got angry and began to throw his darts without much thought, losing in his deciding leg, and leading commentator David Croft to call his antics ridiculous. Perhaps the most famous wind incident happened at the iconic Ali Pali in a 2012 semi-final between Adrian Lewis and James Wade. During the second set, the players began to point out and complain about a breeze on the stage. Eventually, at the start of the third set, Lewis got so angry with the breeze that he asked Wade to pause the game, which he agreed to. There was then a 20-minute break to allow the issue to be sorted, after which Wade went 5-1 up before Lewis pulled off one of the greatest comebacks of all time winning 10 legs in a row and taking out 1-6-1 to win the game 6-5 and move through to the World Final. Many felt if Wade didn't agree to take the break, then he would have been a world champion, as Lewis faced Andy Hamilton in the final and managed to win fairly comfortably. That's not the only time that players have complained about wind at Ali Pali, as ahead of the 2017 World Quarterfinal between Peter Wright and James Wade, Wright pointed out a breeze during the practice starts. The presumed source of the breeze was shown, and it was from an open vent. The players left the stage while the issue was sorted before returning to the stage to start the game. Wright also complained about a breeze in his 2022 World Final against Michael Smith, where, in the first set, there was a terrible leg where the players missed 21 darts at double between them. Bully Boy eventually won the leg with a 28 darter on double one, and the wind wasn't mentioned for the rest of the game, leading some fans to believe that it was an excuse from Peter. Wright also blamed a breeze for a poor performance last year where he lost 6-3 to Johnny Tartar in a big shock at the New Zealand Darts Masters. Wright said that he felt good during the game and thought he could have come back, but that there was a little bit of wind on the stage that had affected his darts. That wasn't just a poor excuse from Wright, as following his first round win, Danny Noppert said that he was a bit bothered by the wind on the stage, but was throwing well. During the event, Michael Smith also said that there was some wind on the stage, but that he didn't want to say too much in case he got told off, much like Aspinall said in Rotterdam. Smith said his darts were going into a board in a way he'd never experienced before, even when playing in Rotterdam for the Premier League, showing how the players always consider that to be one of the worst venues. Going back to Wright, he also blamed wind for his 6-4 loss against Dimitri Vandenberg at the Premier League night last year in Cardiff. He said it was windy up there, so his darts were just lying funny. Whilst the wind can be bad indoors, it was at its worst when the PDC used to hold an outdoor event in Dubai. When playing games there, Raymond van Barneveld used to deliberately use larger flights on his darts to stabilise his throw. Maybe players, when attending venues they know could be windy, could carry around some larger flights just in case. At that event, Gary Anderson also changed his darts from 23 grams to 25 grams, another strategy that players could use when going to venues they know could have an issue. If you want to learn more about that crazy Dubai event, make sure to check out my video about the strangest PDC darts venues in history. I'll put a link to that in the end screen where you can also subscribe. Please do if you haven't already, as currently only 14.5% of you are. Let's get that number up. Also, make sure to hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload a brand new video.